Hi YouTube, I am back. I know it's been a little bit over a year, and so I just wanted to inform you of what I've been doing in my absence. So while I was gone, I graduated high school and started college, and currently I am about to finish my first semester of college. So right now I am working on a book about my life, and in this video I am going to share a piece of what I'm going to put in my book. So right now everything that I'm going to say is true and has happened to me and was a life event. So as that being said, everything that's going to be in my book is true and has happened. So what I'm going to read does not have a title because it's in the works, and I'm just going to get started. So if you feel like you've been touched by anything that I'm going to say, then share my video and leave a like. So I used to cut. I would cut as a butcher cutting a freshly killed pig, as a teacher cutting a picture, compulsively, secretively, in pain and relief. I quit not because I wanted to, but the death of my godmom, an old teacher, made me. At age 14, heart cold, blood rushing, and struggling to stay alive, the memories never fade, but the scars remain. In vivid memory, I slipped out of sight into the nearest undisturbed or abandoned area, pulling out a clean, sharp silver razor blade, sometimes the back of an earring or a house key. My skin cutting, the red liquid oozing, wiping a shaky, tear-stained back hand over the blood. Suddenly, my bloodshot eyes met my mother's gaze. Taking the object, stashing it in some unseen place, and sitting beside me, I know this moment wouldn't go unnoticed. How long have you been doing this? Her voice cracked with many questions. Since fifth grade, I answered, daring not to look into her eyes. Why, Kiana? She says, her voice at a whisper as her soft hands reach for mine. In memory, it was fifth grade with the new two-story apartment. Or was it sixth when I had a new best friend? Or seventh when I joined the school choir? Or eighth when I had the title as modeling squad captain? The year when my self-mutilation was at its worst, or the but the my self-mutilation was over, but the bullying was at its worst. While cutting, I grinned psychotically, unsteady with my hands, but in interrupting my thoughts, the vivid memories, lifelike flashbacks, to watch in silence the red liquid flow as a fresh cut is made. Where the sharp end glides on my skin, sternly, my mother takes the blade that I left beside me. Outside the door, siblings gathered around as if a celebrity was present. They wiped their watery eyes and eavesdropped. We talked, mother forcing me to voice the reason. I remained silent. She pushed harder, my voice barely audible. We talked. Eventually, she leaves the room, weeping, not from the failed communication, for this is not the first, but for the life of her child. Left abandoned, I stay in my room, hurling other objects around, staring at the fresh scars, opening nearly healed ones, murmuring as the red blood seeps down. The door scratched, drawers broken as a result of my temper. Wondering what my mother, brother, and sister could be thinking of me, I sat there hating myself, fearing myself, rejecting myself, knowing I failed my mother. Telling myself I won't cut again to ease the hurt, a pain that's rooted so deep, cutting must be the only way. A brutal pain that I must be able to relieve some other way. Being more active in school, playing with the pets, washing some clothes and drying them. Right to take my mind off the hurt. I would not have fresh cuts, would not use a razor blade to cut, would not use a house key to self-harm, would not hide my fear, would not cut to ease the pain. If only I could find another way. I was 14, dealing with more life than most that age. The only release was a sharp tool making a deep yet hideable score. Knowing it wasn't a good thing, I couldn't make them visible. Making endless failed attempts raised many questions in my adolescent mind. I would like to say my cutting was an intermediate family secret. However, that's not the case. Mother reached out to many therapists before we found the right fit for me. Some people, strangers if you will, saw the scars and became somewhat concerned. My secret was more visible than I anticipated. Too many scars, not enough skin. With my arms and legs covered in marks, I was always in the proper clothes to cover them. Rarely does my mother pull up my sleeves, never knowing about my legs. Seeing new cuts every time, she knew I had a problem. I was in no rush to fix it. Nonetheless, she was determined to get help. On the search for a therapist, when you're a person that hates talking about your problems, it's beyond hard. After long, we found a psychologist that works for me. I was later informed that my cutting was an addiction. Through further sessions, we talked about different coping skills that would be readily available when needed and healthy. With this extra help, there were still relapses, but she never gave up hope. Years, some marks, and the biggest problem passed. The same habits of cutting stayed for a season, but was gone the next. Therapy was helping a great deal. Not doing the homework was a downfall. Around another period of cutting, my godmother passed. Her death changed me mentally. I stopped as a result of it. She never knew about my cutting while she was alive, although I'm sure she knows now. Within the 2 years that she has passed, I've only cut once. After cutting, I instantly regretted it, which was different for me. I never regretted doing it before. I couldn't stop cutting on my own, and a therapist was working occasionally. The purpose for my cutting is for me stop cutting is my godmother's death. Knowing that now is extremely flabbergasting. I will shy away from razor blades at times. Some occasions I get questionable looks over it. But that is not something that most people will understand given that I explain it. Nonetheless, there are times that I need to use sharp tools in my daily life. I focus on using the tool for what it is made for and not for self-harm. The urges to cut still come and go. However, I remember the promise that I made to my godmom after she passed and pushed them away. The thought is strong, the impulse is stronger, but my love for my godmom is the strongest. In life, she helped me greatly. In death, she helped me immensely. So when using sharp tools and the thought occurs, I overcome it with my desire. I overcome my desires to cut with love. So, as a result to my cutting, I got a tattoo. So this stands for suicide awareness. So this basically means that my story isn't over, and this is just for myself, and my scars are over here. So if you got anything from my message, or if you know somebody that can receive